Aloha! I want to do a video on the top 5 things that I recommend to look for in a house inspection. So, I'm not a professional, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a contractor or anything. But I have bought 2 houses and I'm selling this one that I'm in right now. So, just from those 2 house inspections and living in my own house, this is what I would recommend. Alright, well I'm not going to go over the basic stuff that all the inspectors look at. The inspectors will typically look at things that fall under code, obvious things. Things like there's no cover for the outdoor outlet, maybe there's some roof shingles missing. They'll look at those kind of things. Anything that falls, under the code, and they're good at catching those stuff. However, there's a lot of things that they don't look for. So usually you pick your own home inspector, and then the lender will send their own appraiser. But this video is about the inspector that you choose, or maybe your realtor will recommend you one. Either way, I'm going to go over the things that I learned that I had to live with and deal with. The first thing I want to talk about is bad construction. These are things that typically, the owner will do themselves. There's a lot of YouTube videos on how to do things, so a lot of people try to save money and do things themselves. So these are some things I kind of cut corners on, and I just kind of did it myself. So just little things like that quarter round is sticking out a little bit. There's no quarter round on here, and again, this isn't planned. I'm just literally just walking around pointing things out. There's you can see the blue underlayment over there. There's like white caulking on the edges, like dirty shells, which is not a big deal. What else? Things like this, like there's some stains on the ceiling. There's some, it looked like what was a water leak before. This was there when I bought the house, but the more things you find, the more things you can present to the seller and possibly get some kind of discount, or even better, have them fix it themselves before you move in. You do run a risk that you'll piss them off and they'll sell to somebody else, but so you don't want to point out every little thing. You want to point out mainly the big things that you don't want to fix. So here it's like this is not painted and it's kind of sticking out a little bit. You can have the seller do all these things before you move in. In my case, the quarter round and the baseboards are not painted. There's like a gap here. Let me check the bathroom. There's a gap here. It looks like, yeah, this part didn't use the right measurement to reach all the way to the end. Let me go upstairs, but I think for down here that's all, which is not too bad. So I know there's more things upstairs. Okay, so I know, yeah. So going up the stairs, there's a gap here. There's like a slight gap there. Not really. This thing is loose, so it's easy to kick off. And upstairs there's more bad construction. There's like a little piece of laminate that was just kind of pushed in there. Stuff like that. Now these aren't major things, but you might want to point it out to them and ask them for some kind of discount, because it's not a good job. Oh, here's another one. If you look on the edges, so now this is the hallway. So if you look on the edges, the paint doesn't reach all the way to the corner. So just things like that. You can try to get the seller to try to finish before you sign the papers. Alright, number 2. So this is a big one. You want to make sure that the AC, there's nothing wrong with the AC. Now, just because the AC is old, it doesn't mean that it's bad. Even the older ones, I think they use copper coils versus aluminum, so the copper is more durable than the aluminum. However, it is older. So one thing I recommend is to leave the AC on during the inspection. It could last like from half an hour to whatever. And then you want to make sure that it's not leaking from the intake. So this is where the air, for my house at least, this is where the air goes in and it comes out through the smaller ones all throughout the house. So sometimes I notice the water leaking from here, which is the in air vent, and there's also another one upstairs. But yeah, check those out. Another area that you should check when you are doing the inspection and the AC is on, you want to make sure that the primary hose is leaking and not the secondary hose. The primary one would be on the side of the house somewhere, and the secondary one would be in an obvious place, like it'll be leaking in front of a window or something. Somewhere where you don't want water. So it's just kind of an alert saying, hey, you know, water's leaking here. My primary is clogged or something. So make sure that the primary is leaking and not the secondary. Another thing I recommend is to do a water test. What that is just spray some water at all the windows, preferably at different angles, and then go inside and look for leaks. Now when you spray water from outside, it's to simulate rain, and now rain comes at different angles, so it's really hard to simulate from every angle, but it's better than not testing at all. So after I moved in, I noticed water dripping from here when it would rain, so that's why I recommend that. It's also a good idea to spray water at the doors, so front door, back door, make sure water doesn't come through on the bottom or whatever. So another thing you want to look at when you're doing the home inspection is you want to make sure that there's no issues with the foundation. So there's no issue with this house's foundation, but one way you can test foundation is just look at the edges for cracks. There could possibly be cracks along the walls, along the ceiling, and again, there's nothing wrong with this house's foundation, but that's a possible sign. You also want to be able to close all the doors without the doors touching the edges. When the door closes and touches the edges, it obviously means there's some shifting going on. So this is another test. Now again, there's nothing wrong with this house, so it closes fine. Alright, the number one thing that I recommend to look for, and that the inspectors... I'm just coming up the stairs and I noticed some brown stuff. I was like freaking out because I thought it was like some kind of bugs or something, but actually it is from bugs. So anyway, that's kind of similar to my next topic. So number one thing to look for that I recommend is rodents. Not only rodents, specifically things that live in your attic. So during my 2 inspections that I was a part of, when I bought this house and another house, they literally just peeked their head up into the attic and then came back down. They didn't look, they didn't really do a good inspection. So what I recommend is that you request them to go in the attic and do a thorough inspection of rodents. So the roof of most houses are not completely closed off. There's vents to let air out. It's designed that way. You want to make sure that those open areas have a secure cover over it. you want to make sure it has like a steel cover. You don't want to make sure it has like a mesh screen cover because they'll eat right through it. You want to make sure it has a steel cover that they can't eat through, because they will, and they'll wake you up because their footsteps are all over the house. And the worst thing is they don't even pay rent, and they're just gonna cause you headaches. So right now I'm actually about to go up to get my rodent trap. I set a trap up there a long time ago to catch some, I thought it was a raccoon, but it was a squirrel. So I set it up. I didn't end up catching anything. I put some bait out there and I didn't get it back. So I'm kind of freaked out about what could be there. Maybe I did catch something and it's dead, rotting in there. Maybe there's a bunch of ants all over the bait I left. But I'm gonna go up there just for you guys and see what's up there. It's like an oven in here. Alright, so I went ahead and took the cover off and took the cover off and turned on the light, and it's seriously like 50 degrees hotter up here. It's like an oven up here, and I'm kind of debating whether or not to even do this. So this is the attic, and now some attics are not big enough to stand and walk around in, but unfortunately mine's is. And unfortunately, because I was stupid enough to leave a trap all the way back there. Okay, so these are the openings that I'm talking about. And good news, guys, there's no openings. So I replaced the mesh that was here with these steel ones, and you can't really tell because I'm so far away. But yeah, they're steel. You know, no rodent can't bite through it. So let me point out the trails that these animals leave. I don't know why I'm whispering, but these are these trails that the squirrels leave. So see that black hole right there? So it looks like something could either be living there or using it as a walkway of some sort. And there's definitely one here, along here. And like I said, I was all the way back there. I set up a trap back there, and there's definitely a whole flattened area back there. And like I said, I'm kind of debating whether or not it's worth saving that $20 rat trap, or I mean animal trap. But I'm Alright guys, I don't think I can make it because it's too dark and I don't have a flashlight. I didn't really think that far ahead. So I'm just gonna leave that animal trap there. Yeah. So it's headed back down. But anyways, yeah, this is what the attic looks like. Honestly, the guy inspecting my house should have caught all these trails, but you know, you never know who these guys work for. Everyone has their own motives, and you know, you just gotta do your due diligence, and yeah, but now you know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Those are my top 5 tips to do when you're doing a house inspection. Congratulations on buying a house soon, hopefully, and good luck. Thanks for watching again.